I'm a very big believer that we can't continue to regurgitate the same narratives and hope that we're going to inspire a new generation. That's just nonsense. And you've noticed that I really don't do interviews unless I'm bringing you somebody really, really new, okay? So my new person is exciting. So you'll notice that I do very little talking. She does all the talking, and her name is Nelly Tuikong. I actually had to practice her name. And Nelly is the brain, the passion, the mind, the sheer driving machine behind Pauline Cosmetics. But before we get to the cosmetics, tell me about Nelly, because you told me a story that if I have to repeat it, nobody will believe it. Where do you come from again?
I grew up in rural Kenya, Nandi County. I actually grew up in a farm. So a typical farm life where you go to the river to fetch water because we don't have taps. Go fetch firewood. We lived actually close to the Nandi forest, so that's where we went to get our firewood. And we milked cows, and it's just farm life.
So how does a girl straight from the farm in Nandi, and she's refused to say where, because I told her we only hear of those places during election returns. It's always like a county, like a polling station.
It's actually called Aldai, Kaptumo.
Kaptumo shows up during the elections. She's from Kaptumo. How does a girl from Kaptumo get into the world of fashion, beauty, glamour, and makeup?
So, fast forward, I'm in nursing school in America. And at this time also, it's not like makeup and beauty was in my radar. I had a very perfect trajectory about how my healthcare career was going to go.
Okay.
I had, I think, 3 options: to go to clinical research, BSN, Bachelor's of Nursing to PhD track, get a master's and be a nurse practitioner. And then at that time, actually, they changed the law. They required all nurse practitioners to have a doctorate. So I had all those options, and beauty was not in my radar.
And then?
So a couple of circumstances kind of led to that point. One was when I was a student, I was wearing makeup, and there were 2 options of where you would buy makeup. It was either the drugstore brands, so your CVS, your Walgreens, right, which are cheaper and affordable, or your over-the-counter mall brands. So the problem with the CVS drugstore brands was that you could never test it because they don't have testers.
No, they don't.
And then you would have probably like 10 powders or compact powders of liquid foundations, and there'll be the last 2 that are meant for dark skinned people.
And they're not really down.
No. It's one that is olive tone, so it's lighter for maybe the pointy or
classic tan.
Yes.
Yes.
And then a red undertone that you're like, who even looks like that? So clearly we were an afterthought, right? And that was, that was frustrating. The drugstore, the countertop mall brands were expensive. And I remember I did make an investment because I did get a foundation that actually matched me. It was Lancome. And 3 products costed me more than $100. 3 products, brush, powder, and liquid foundation. And that was not sustainable for students. No. So I remember walking at the mall at some point, and I saw a brand being launched, and I was like, another one. We probably have over 1,000 brands already in America, right?
Yeah.
And so I went over, tried to test, and still there was nothing for me. So I got home that day and just something sunk in. I was like, wait a minute, makeup brand. I mean, if I'm already having a hard time here in America getting products, what about, my sisters back home in Kenya and in Africa? And it just went off, and it could not let me go. I felt like I needed to do something about it. So
nursing ended, and makeup manufacturer extraordinaire emerged. Shaking
and not sure, because again, I've kind of set my career in stone. I'm going to be in healthcare.
Yes.
And then how do I start telling people who have helped me get to school? I'm graduating at this point. I'm about to do my nursing boards, ready to get up to start.
And here you are playing with makeup like my daughter.
Yes.
When we come back, I want Nelly to tell you why, her name is Nelly, so why is the brand called Pauline Cosmetics? I will celebrate the things I love about her line, but also, what does it mean to go into manufacturing and what are the things that go through her mind every time something's happening. And of course, you know, I'm going to ask her, what is it like to do biashara in Kenya? So come back, but subscribe.